Welcome everyone to episode 39 of the Phoenix Report. I am Jack Connor, and man, this episode is a real treat for me. I've been a fan of this guy for years and a lot of the bands that he's been associated with. As I understand, my guest today has been a veteran of the Atlanta music scene for many, many years. I had first been aware of him from a band called Six Speed he was involved with in the early 2000s. He was also in a band called Dangerous New Machine, which I have a very interesting story about. Dangerous New Machine, for those of you who don't know, was made up of several different musicians from around the Atlanta area. On drums, I think was a guy named Rodney Bobuff. Am I pronouncing that?
Yeah, it's Rodney Bobuff, yeah.
Bobuff, yeah. He played in Stuck Mojo.
Yes, he did.
The lead singer of that band was a guy named Eric Rogers from a band called Stereo Mud that... keep in mind, folks, I graduated high school in 2003, so I was well aware of Stereo Mud, and so I'd gone to see them in concert. So I was really excited to go see this band, Dangerous New Machine. They were sort of a supergroup of sorts. They'd come out with a really great record called Set This World on Fire, and I'd gone to see them in 2009 in St. Petersburg, Florida, at the State Theater. And I was really excited because they played a lot of original stuff, and I ended up getting the record after that. But they had played a lot of old Stereo Mud songs, and my friend's band was opening for Dangerous New Machine that night. A buddy of mine was in a band called Consinity at the time, and and as I recall, that night was pretty interesting for the guys in Dangerous New Machine because, as I understand, there was a flat tire or something happened with their van. It got towed, and they ended up getting to the gig late. So I felt bad because there were a lot of people who ended up leaving a little bit early. But I stuck around. I was there on the floor. I was singing along to a lot of the songs that I knew, and sure enough, Eric Rogers, their lead singer, actually invited me to come up on stage and for the last song, which was called Pain, which was one of Stereo Mud's big hits. At least certainly it was a hit regionally in Florida. Where,
oh yeah, dude, it was a national hit, definitely.
Absolutely, and I'd gone up and sang the song with them, and a lot of people were. I think a buddy of mine got it on video. It's floating around there on YouTube somewhere, and so I had got the chance, and it blew my mind because I got the chance to sing with. Certainly even not the band Stereo Mud, but the guy who was the lead singer of it, and sing that song that I loved back in high school. And it was just a really cool experience. And it didn't hit me until afterwards that their guitar player, who is my guest today, was also connected to one of my other favorite bands, who he would later go on to join on a full-time basis. My guest today has been a member of one of my favorite bands, Fozzy, since 2010, and he also plays in some different side projects, including Cyberstar and Madame Mayhem. And since 2010, this guy has been touring all over the world, playing with Fozzy, playing on their records Sin and Bones and Do You Want to Start a War, and is about to appear on their upcoming 7th album, Judas. And they are about to hit the road with Gemini Syndrome and The Stir. So, it's a long-winded intro, I know, but please welcome to the Phoenix Report one of the two guitar players for Fozzy, Mr. Billy Grey.
Hey, everybody, and thanks for having me, bro. Thanks for having me, Jack.
And again, like I said, I'm a huge fan, and it's weird, and it's interesting how, sort of our paths tend to converge a little bit. And I was, when I sang with Dangerous New Machine, I was aware that you were in the band. I had first heard of you because I know that you had done some work with Fozzy years ago on the record Happenstance.
Yep, I did. I moved to Atlanta to join Six Speed and Fozzy at the same time, and that was back in 2001, and in between that time, Eric and I had some bands together. We had Soundevice. We started with that. Mm-hmm. We had a project called Love Said No, which later turned into Dangerous New Machine.
I still have a Love Said No T-shirt that I got from that night. I still wear that thing all the time.
Yeah, dude, I love that band name, and I love the logo for it. So I still have mine as well.
Very cool. It's funny. Occasionally, like I've worn that T-shirt around, and people will be like, "What is that?" Like, or it's like even if I'll like wear it to church, some people might like kind of turn their head and be like, "What's that all about?" Maybe maybe not everyone understands, kind of what it's all about, but
Right.
yeah, obviously I really loved the Dangerous New Machine record.
Church, if you can wear that shirt to it though, so hey, that's awesome.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's against the rules, but I mean, I'll do it anyway. So, but that's beside the point. But yeah, no, I had been aware of your involvement with Fozzy, and I'd kind of found out about Six Speed through Rich's website, and and it was weird because it's like, I mean, I feel like that's one of those like little bands that I've like learned about that maybe no one else has heard about, but I feel like it's like my own, it's like this weird band like I kind of have in my back pocket that not really many people know about, but I really dug. So, and I ended up getting the Six Speed record through like Amazon, I want to say, probably through an import or something, but it's really great stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It was fun playing with it. It was definitely fun doing that project with Rich, and Frank was in it as well. And yeah, we had some good shows, man. It just, things happen, things change, and we go the way that we're meant to be. So
absolutely.
Here we are today.
How did you first get involved with those guys, by the way? Because I know you hadn't played on. I think you played on a few a few songs on the record Happenstance and maybe a few shows, but you weren't fully in the band at that point. How did you guys all meet?
We met, it's a funny story, like from the beginning, Rich and I we're both from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And we actually went to the same high school at one point.
Really?
And Rich moved to Atlanta before I did and formed Stuck Mojo. So when I stayed in Charlotte, I had a band called Method 51, and we got a record deal, and it was an indie label through Atlantic, and so we did some touring and got lucky enough to open up for Stuck Mojo a few times.
Okay.
And which led to me getting an audition and for Six Speed and Fozzy all at the same time, and actually did a couple of Mojo reunion shows as well, this, that, and the other. But yeah, it's just through my band Method 51 opening up for Stuck Mojo led to what we have going today.
Did you and Rich know each other back in high school?
We didn't. We knew of each other. I never really got to talk to him, but I knew of him, and we knew we had a lot of the same friends. So
it's
kind of crazy.
It's pretty wild how you can end up, discovering someone like that at a different point in your life, but still have that big impact. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And the thing about the early days of Fozzy that not a lot of people may know, especially if you recently found out about the band. Certainly the band at that point was not a full-time touring entity.
It was not.
Yeah, as I understand it, Chris had this other job that kind of took up a lot of his time. I don't know.
Yeah, it took up most of his time. So yeah, it was more of just a fun thing to get together and and play, and they actually got a record deal, and and the rest is history.
It's pretty remarkable looking back at the history of that band, and I was a fan since day one. I will say that, but looking back at the history of the band, it's for those of you who are listening who might not know, Fozzy is a band. Their lead singer is Chris Jericho, who's a world famous professional wrestler, actor, podcaster. Chances are you've heard of this guy. Unless you've been living under a rock, people know who Chris Jericho is, or at least get the idea. Oh, he's in the WWE. All right. So
right.
being both a rock music and a wrestling fan, that's how I got exposed to Fozzy, from the first album all the way down. Now, and of course, at that point, Chris was a full-time wrestler. It was real, those guys are on the road 200 days a year. It makes it really difficult to really dedicate, like a full-time touring band, especially when you had that kind of schedule. Now, but I mean, the fact that he's stuck with it as long as he has, and seeing the band grow to where it is today, I've seen the band play in clubs, and now kind of moving up to like major theaters. And I know you guys have done several, huge festivals,
all over a lot of them, man. So awesome.
All over the world. It might be easy to pass off Fozzy as like, oh, this guy, he's famous in another aspect of the entertainment industry, but they've really taken this band very seriously, and it's not just a little fun passion project. Chris and Rich have repeatedly treated this as a real band, and really seen this band grow over the years. And I think it's really cool from a fan's perspective to see that progression, be to where it is now. And it's great. You guys consistently make great records, and I love what you guys do.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the new one coming out is going to be the one, man. I mean, I know everybody says that about their new record coming out, but honestly and truly, I mean, I started back with the band on Sin and Bones. We played on that one. We did. Do You Want to Start a War? And now we have this one, and I got to tell you, with the producer that was used and writing collaborations, that this record that is about to be released is my absolute favorite.
Wow. Now, who is producing this new record?
His name is Johnny Andrews.
Okay. The name sounds familiar.
He and Rich are producing it, and he collaborates on the writing. And I got to tell you, man, I really love it.
Very cool. His name sounds really familiar. I know he's worked with a lot of other big names. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I apologize. Do you?
Hailstorm.
Okay.
All That Remains.
Yes.
Oh God, the list goes on and on.
Absolutely. And I imagine it has to be tough for any guy in your position to join a band that's already been around for a few years. Yes, you guys had worked together before off and on, but you became a full-time member in 2010. Right before the Sin and Bones record. I think during the Chasing the Grail tour.
I did. I got back in during that tour, and we've been kicking pretty hard ever since.
Which, by the way, that says a lot about your ability as a player to come into that, because the guy who was in there before, Mike Martin, was a really incredible guitar player. And
he's a great guitar player, for sure.
Not only that, but on a lot of the records, you had a lot of special guests, guys like Zakk Wylde, Mark Tremonti, Marty Friedman, people, guys who are heavy hitters, in the lead guitar community, have recorded a lot of solos on a lot of the early Fozzy records from before you were in the band. So you're filling those shoes as well. So that's no easy task. So that really says a lot to their confidence in your ability to come in and play those parts and add something new to the band as well.
Hey, you know what, dude? I got to tell you, I'm blessed to be here. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I always say it. I'm blessed to be here. For sure.
Now, I mean, obviously, one thing I've always been curious about, because I know it's very much Chris and Rich's project. Do you have any creative input on some of the songs, recent?
Yes. Not to cut you off, on Sin and Bones, I wrote, Inside Your Head, wrote that.
Oh, yeah, great song.
I came to the table with that. It was actually a song that I wrote for my little niece when she was born.
Oh, okay.
And the music is, one day I was like just playing a little spot of that on stage, just at the sound check, and Rich was like, "Oh man, what is that? That's killer." Mm-hmm. So we built a song off of it, and Inside My Head came from me. Storm the Beaches.
Oh man,
wrote that on the bus on a Euro tour. There's a few others. I definitely have some creative input on songs.
Oh man,
I got back into the band.
Storm the Beaches is an incredible track. I mean, for those of you listening, go and look it up on YouTube or something right now, because it's I'm gonna say it's about clocks in at 10 minutes. It's a pretty epic song about the Battle of Normandy, and I remember talking to Chris years ago, and he said a lot of it was based on Saving Private Ryan. I always imagine scenes from Captain America and the Avengers in my head, whenever I play that song. So I wish someone would make a YouTube edit of that movie footage to that song. That'd be really.
That would be killer. That'd be great. Yeah.
Maybe I'll learn how to edit and see if I can do that one of these days. I don't know.
That'd be awesome, dude. Yeah, that'd be it right there.
All right.
For sure.
I got some homework to do, but but yeah, no, I didn't really mention this in the intro, but I mean, Fozzy does a really great job over the years of VIP packages and meet and greets, and that's where I've gotten the chance to meet you guys over the years, and just kind of pass on demos of my band or whatever else, maybe get pictures and all sorts of things. And I hear some of the things you guys are doing now with some people get to go on stage and sing a song with you guys at sound check. Which, I mean, if I was doing that, I would eat that right up.
So much of the VIPs, man. We have everybody come in. They get to check out the sound check, and then we'll play like a few obscure covers. Have them come up on stage and jam with us. I mean,
for sure,
it's so much fun to do it like that, and rather than just being the regular VIP where you go through the motions of, hey, take the photo, see you later. You know, we actually jam some cover tunes for them, make it a special experience, and it's a lot of fun.
You know, I mean, and not for nothing. I mean, the way the business is now, the way the industry is, you know, the VIPs things that it's almost become a necessity for most bands, but you guys really give people bang for their buck. And I think that's, you know, you guys aren't phoning that one in. And I think that really says a lot about, you know, about you guys and fan interaction. And I've had Rich kind of remember me a few times from when I've, you know, showed up and that. And the funny thing is, I've told this story a lot of times before, but I've actually gone up and sang on stage with Fozzy. You weren't in the band at the time. This was before your time, but I've actually gotten the chance to do that years ago. And I've actually told that story on my show before, but it was but yeah, stuff like that like happens. And like Rich actually remembered me from that, which blew my mind.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and he's really good at that too. He loves, you know, the fans hold a special place in his heart, and he remembers everybody. He's such a good dude. So I look up to him for that. He's really good about that.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's pretty cool that, you know, the fact that you've gotten to collaborate a little bit. I can imagine a lot of bands in that position. You might have guys who say like, hey, I'm the one who writes the songs. This is how it is. You're the new guy, whatever. But it sounds like you guys really are a band and treat yourselves like that. And I know that sounds cliche, but you know there aren't a lot of guys who always operate like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's worked out like that, and it's worked out really nice because I love being a part of a band. I'm an artist as well, so you know I'm really glad that there are some open minds in the camp, and we can work it together, and you know, and we'll only do it more and more over the years to come.
I mean, it's certainly seemed that way. So it's nice, you know, from an outsider perspective to hear that straight from you guys that is the case. So that's really awesome to hear. Not only that, even in the band, you also have some other outlets of your own. Like I've heard of your band Cyberstar. I don't really know a lot about that project. I was who else is in that band with you?
Okay, in Cyberstar, I had the singer from Drowning Pool. His name is Jason Moreno.
Oh yeah,
and it's me on guitar doing all the guitars.
Okay.
Then I have the drummer's name is Dusty Winterroad. He played in a band called Allele. They're actually from Florida too. They're a pretty well known band.
That name's
from Jacksonville.
That name really does sound familiar. I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I mean,
and I do all the bass and I do all the keyboard looping and whatever. And we do have another guitarist who came in for the past the last couple of months and did some guitar tracking with us on the last song of the EP. His name is Adam Nanez.
Okay.
He's Jason's friend. He played in the band with Jason down in Dallas, Texas.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. You know, that's kind of like a little super group thing there. I met Jason while Fozzy was on tour with Drowning Pool.
That's right. And you know what? I heard the Drowning Pool record he did, and I was really impressed. You know,
rules, man. I love it.
Yeah, like there's a really cool song on there called "Skip to the End" that it still sticks in my head, and you know, not a lot of people might not know about this, and they might just know Drowning Pool from their first record with, you know, the late great Dave Williams, but yeah. But yeah, no, I really like what he brought to the band. I gotta admit, I wasn't really that hot on the stuff they did with Ryan McComb. No disrespect to him, but
yeah, gotcha.
You know, no disrespect to him. I mean, you know, he was with Soil for many years, but the stuff that Jason has been doing with Drowning Pool, and I haven't heard I haven't heard their new record yet, but I'd also be really interested in how he sounds on some of their classic tracks as well.
He does them really good, man. He brings a lot to that band, and I love what he brings to our Cyberstar project that we're about to release an EP. I mean, we have it recorded. I'm just waiting on some mixing and some mastering. We've taken our time with it, and when the time is right, we're going to put it out there, play some shows, and you know, and bring it to the world as well. We've already released 3 singles, and they're out there on YouTube, all the social media outlets, and you can check them out.
For sure, for sure. And the thing I like about Jason, and again, I think he was more of a melodic singer. I think that's what really attracted me to the stuff he did with Drowning Pool, kind of getting back to that more melodic bass.
He has great melodies, but he also has a lot of the grit and the heaviness as well. He can do a lot with his voice. So.
Right, and which obviously you need that, with Drowning Pool. But he also, I felt like he wasn't trying to sound like Dave Williams or Jason Jones or Ryan McComber. I think he was very much his own guy, which I respect that a lot. Yep. So that's really cool. Have you played any live shows with Cyberstar yet, or has it been mainly a recording thing?
Just been recording and writing. We've gotten in the room together, written some songs, and we do a lot of it just cyberly as well. That's hence the name.
Okay.
But as soon as we get this EP out here in the coming months, we're going to book some shows, and we're going to play some strategic gigs and have some fun with it.
Sounds great, man. Sounds great. And
I've been playing a lot with my other artist I jam with. She's a female artist called Madame Mayhem.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up.
I got back from Sturgis, actually. It was awesome.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I've been paying attention to your social media, so that's how I kind of found out about Madame Mayhem. I hadn't. I'll be honest. I haven't really heard of her before. I haven't really heard any of her stuff. I guess is she like kind of in a similar genre? Is she just like a rock chick, or what's her deal?
Yeah, she's a rock chick. She has a single called Monster. Everybody check that out.
Very cool.
It was
I will.
Produced by Corey Lowry. He was in Stuck Mojo as well.
Yes.
You know him pretty well, I'm sure.
I do.
You've heard his name a lot. Lowry's brother.
Also,
he got me the gig with her, and she's got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, Corey, of course, was originally in Stereo. He was originally in Stuck Mojo. Stuck Mojo, Stereo Mud, and also in Dark New Day, a band that I like a lot. In fact, my band actually got our first EP produced by Brett Hessla, who was the singer for that band.
Oh, that's cool, dude. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, Brett was a local, just until recently lived here in the Orlando area. So we got, and obviously being a big Creed fan, I asked him a lot of questions about those days, and I was a big fan of his. So to record with him was really, really cool. So I know he just recently moved to Nashville.
Not meet Mark Tremonti. I met him a lot, but Madame Mayhem played with Alter Bridge and All That Remains this past week, opening for them at Sturgis. So hang out with Mark quite a bit there.
Very cool, very cool. As I understand, Mark lives about probably 20 minutes from me. I mean, not that I'm going to go knock on his door or anything, but I had heard about that. So that's kind of cool for me, being a big fan of his as well.
Yeah, he's a great guitar player.
For sure. So, but yeah, I mean, it sounds like you've got a lot of stuff going on with Cyberstar and Madame Mayhem, and you got this new tour with Gemini Syndrome and The Stir in the works. You guys are going. I think you guys just got back from a European loop, didn't you?
Well, we did a U.S. loop in April, end of April into all of May. We did all the festivals, and we did lots of club dates with a band called King, K-Y-N-G. They're freaking awesome.
I just listened to them on Chris's podcast. They seem like an interesting group of guys. Yeah,
they're really good. They're a great band. Then we went over to England, did Download Festival, a couple of English shows.
Amazing.
And we start back here September 16th, and we do the U.S. through mid-October. Then we head over to Europe, and we'll be there till a little after Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken, and sky's the limit from there.
Very cool. Very cool. But yeah, getting back to the whole point of having a guy in your band who already was famous from another end of things. Sure, I'm sure that opens a lot of doors, and certainly, between him and Rich, they know a lot of people, and that certainly gives you a big platform. But without great songs, without really working hard, Fozzy wouldn't be what it is now, and they wouldn't have been doing their thing over the last 17 years and really had been able to play consistently big festivals like Donington. If there wasn't something in there, I mean, Download Festival, Donington is one of the biggest rock festivals in the world, and you guys do that. You guys play Australia consistently. I think, have you guys done Wacken in Germany?
Yeah, we've done that. We played Wacken back in 2013. That was our fourth Download Festival we just played this past year. So Yeah, man, and that was our second Carolina Rebellion. We did all these American festivals, which are freaking awesome, by the way. So rock and roll lives in America, I can tell you that right now.
Very cool. But I mean, something I've noticed as a fan over the years, it seems like, it seems like the audiences in Europe and Australia and overseas, they seem a little bit more open-minded when it comes to rock music. And maybe this is just my perception as as just an average guy living here in the States. I feel like that kind of music is much more appreciated overseas. I don't know if that's been your experience or not.
Not really. It's about the same. I mean, over in, say, like Germany, they're more acceptable to a band like, say in the style of Halloween or Saxon or something like that. But here in America, with the festivals that we played, I mean, we played with everybody from young upstarts to like Fire from the Gods to with Kid, and then other shows with Kid Rock headlining at the festivals, and they're still just jam packed. Yeah,
you guys have done all the major festival circuits here in the States. Carolina Rebellion, Welcome to Rockville, probably Rocklahoma too.
Rocklahoma we did this year. It was awesome.
Very cool, very cool. And I've got a lot of friends of mine who have gone to those festivals, and they love it. So I mean, it's amazing. It definitely gives a lot of hope for, I mean, a guy like me I'm just an average guy. I'm in a local band around here. Kind of gives us hope to keep going. And yeah. So I definitely want to thank you guys for that, and playing the kind of music that you do, because I feel like not enough people are doing that, like real rock music with singers who actually sing and not just like Cookie Monster vocals over top of the whole thing. And that's been one of my pet peeves.
Have some melodies in there for sure.
That's been one of my pet peeves, and no disrespect to anyone who does that kind of style, but you guys have really given guys like me a lot of hope, and that people want to hear it. So I just want to personally thank you for that, and kind of geek out a little bit on for that.
Dude, it's all good, bro, man. Just keep playing and enjoying what you do. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely, and it's cool for me as a fan, hearing about you guys touring the world, and obviously, like all the guys in my band, we've all got families, we've all got jobs and mortgages and whatnot to pay. So it's like, even though we're not able to do it, to hear you guys are doing it successfully, it's almost we're kind of living vicariously through you guys in a way. So
yeah, I mean, there's married members and mortgages in this band too, dude.
Well, I'm sure.
To pay too,
I'm sure, no doubt. But the fact that you guys are able to do it definitely gives us a little bit of hope.
To be able to do this for a living.
It's so it's so difficult now, the way the music business is.
Oh yeah, it is.
I mean, not that it was ever easy before, but just especially now. It's yeah. I mean, what can you say?
The download generation changed everything, buddy.
Sure, and I've been guilty of that too. I'm not gonna lie, but
I have to. But and the thing is you know what? And I'm not fussing about it. You just gotta adapt to it, and you gotta learn the new ways and learn new ways to sell yourself, and that's why we do VIPs. That's why we tour. So it's all about the fans, man. We're blessed to be able to do it.
Absolutely, and that's why I get a little angry when I hear some of the older generation say that, the business is dead, it's killed rock music, and
nah, it's not. Yeah, that's wrong thinking.
And all due respect to those guys, I mean, but I mean, I refuse to believe that, because I think people still enjoy the music. It's just been more difficult to have avenues for people to hear it, and especially for people to discover newer bands. And so it's just I appreciate the fact that you guys are still plugging away and doing your thing.
Yeah, man. We'll keep plugging away too. We'll be here for a while to come.
For sure. Any particular favorite stories from the road that you want to share, or that come to mind, that certain funny things? I'm sure being on a bus with Chris Jericho has all kinds of craziness that involves that gets involved with that.
What? There's a lot of funny ones. I gotta say, there's a lot of fun stuff that happens. I'll tell you what. The most fun that happens is when the five of us, myself, Paul DeLeo, Rich Ward, Frank Fonseray, and Chris Jericho hit the stage, because there's some stuff that happens out there that can't be beat. So that's the main fun for us right there.
It's great. You guys really do. I mean, you guys really don't take yourselves all that seriously on stage. I mean, obviously you take the music seriously, but you guys have a lot of fun and bring that fun energy back. And I think that's something that's been missing from rock music for a long, long time.
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's a lot of bands out there that are, just pretty much just a hardcore about being heavy and being intense, and we like that too. But at the same time, I want to see some hands in the air. I'd like to see some females enjoying the show.
Right. Well,
with sing-along choruses, that's what we like.
For sure, and it's funny to see what Steel Panther is doing now. And I know Michael, obviously Ralph Michael Starr was on "Do You Want to Start a War" on Tonight. That was a great song. And I'm sure you guys have done some shows together over the years, and with work in the circuit and with all the festivals.
We've done a lot of shows. We did Download this past year together. This past summer, we did an Australian tour with Steel Panther. We've done quite a few festivals. So yeah, we played a lot with those guys. Love them to death.
Well, it's interesting. It's funny how their stuff has taken off the way it has. When Fozzy in its early days had sort of a similar deal. That it was very comedy based. You guys had your own, well, I know you were there just on a part-time basis, but you guys had your own characters, and there was a whole backstory. And I think weren't you called Miles Biscuit at one point?
I was.
Did you have to put on a British accent at any point or something, or?
No, I just had the dreads back then, and that was my image, and that was some name that Chris came up with. That was it.
He's a crazy man for sure, but
yeah.
And the dreads were real, by the way. I've seen those old 6-speed videos. You've graduated to the faux hawk, my friend. But
yeah, graduation time, right?
Of course, but yeah, no, I mean, I can only imagine the stuff you guys have gotten into over, on the road, and that reflects through the show. I mean, obviously, the energy comes across in a big bad way, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For sure. Well, this is awesome, and again, I'm kind of rambling here for a little bit, but I'm a little starstruck. Like I said, I've been a fan of you guys for a long time. And, certainly Fozzy has a bunch of dates coming up with Gemini Syndrome and The Stir. And definitely keep an eye. FozzyRock.com is the website.
Yes, definitely keep an eye on that. Check out my website, BillyGrayGuitar.com. That gives all the dates that I'll be playing with Fozzy, as well as Madame Mayhem, Cyberstar releases, and all kinds of videos I put on there. I put up some instructional videos sometimes. I put up play-along videos. So, yeah, man, check out all that stuff.
Very cool. And Billy, are you on Twitter, Facebook, and all that? Where can they find you there?
Billy Grey on Facebook, Grey, and Billy_Gray on Twitter. So, yeah, definitely check out those media pages as well.
For sure, absolutely. Billy, thank you again for taking the time to talk to me and be on my podcast. And for what it's worth, you made you helped out a fan. So
Oh, dude, thanks for having me on here, Jack.
For sure. Definitely drop me a line. Hopefully, we can meet up next time you guys come through Orlando.
Sounds like a plan, buddy.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you so much to Billy Grey from Fozzy and Cyberstar and Madame Mayhem. Just a great guy, really great guitar player. He has a lot of stuff going on right now. So check out FozzyRock.com for all their tour dates, BillyGrayGuitar.com for everything he's got going on. And I'm looking forward to the new Fozzy album, Judas. Their new single, which is also called Judas, it's blowing up the active rock charts right now. It's over 7 million views on YouTube, the music video. Check it out. It looks awesome. The song is great. Definitely can't recommend Fozzy enough. Go check them out if you haven't already. As far as upcoming events for me, I have 2 really cool acoustic shows that I'm doing in October. Starting on Thursday, October 12th, I will be at a Petrified Forest in Altamont Springs, which is just north of Orlando. Really cool haunted house attraction. I will be there performing along with Billy Floyd, formerly of Black in the Mind. He'll be doing an acoustic show as well, so check out me and Billy there. It should be a really fun night. And then 2 days after that, on Saturday, October 14th, I will be at Rock for the Troops 2017, which is a really cool benefit show to benefit PTSD survivors. raise money for for our veterans and for our troops. Should be a really exciting event. I will be there not only performing acoustically, but also I'll be emceeing a portion of the event. Should be a lot of really cool acts there. Check out my Facebook events page for more details on that. So that's what I've got going on, and I think that'll be it for this week of the Phoenix Report. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at JackXConnor. Make sure you like me on Facebook at facebook.com/JackConnorMusic. Feel free to check out my band, Vertebraker. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/VertebrakerBand, on Twitter at VertebrakerFL, as in the state of Florida, on Instagram at Vertebraker. We have links in the description in case you're not sure how to spell it. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, make sure you email me at jackconnorpodcast@gmail.com or tweet me with the hashtag Phoenix Report. If you're listening to this on YouTube or iTunes, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, go back and listen to all the other episodes, and that'll be it. So thank you very much for listening to this week. This has been the Phoenix Report. I am Jack Connor. I'll see you later.